What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Strap for Cash Garage. I'm Chris, and join me today as I take a look at the driver's side wheel bearing on my 85 Chevy Caprice. I'm still getting it ready for camping, but I figured I'd take a look at it because it's sat for about 5 years without the dust cover on it, and it rains a lot around here. So just want to take a look at that and maybe repack it. And yeah, so join me. Let's go take a look at it. First things first, let's get this wheel out of the way. Get the brakes out of the way. I'm just gonna, easy thing to do is just cock the wheel, give you more access. I like to just bust these two loose. Then what you can do is, what I like to do is take a flathead and squeeze your brake pads apart. You don't want to pry against the rotor. Just want to push these guys back. You can use some channel locks, something like that. So you're just trying to force brake fluid back. Then get a pair of these hose clamps, and I just like to clamp off the brake line. Then we'll just run our screws the rest of the way out. Hopefully the spindle ain't rusty or anything, but there's a lot of grease in there, so I think we'll be good. Anyway, we're back. When you take your caliper off, you don't want to dangle it by the hose. I just like to use this stool, or you could use a bungee cord, box, something like that. But you just don't want to let it hang by that brake hose. We're back. Now it's time to, which everything actually looks really good in here, but I'm going to take it apart anyway, just to be sure. But time to remove the spindle nut. Get your cotter pin out of the way. Add a replacement cotter pin. You should replace these. Should being the optimal word. See if we can't snake in here. I just use needle nose pliers. You can use these, some side cutters, something like that. Get your cotter pin out of the way. These tapered roller bearings. You you want to tighten them down to seat them, and then maybe like finger tight and then like an eighth of a turn, something like that. But they should not be on there very tight at all. Get your castle nut off. Be cleaning all this up. I don't know how well you can see that, but I can tell you now, I think there's some moisture in there. This is, they should, in theory, this outer bearing should just fall right out, but it's kind of a struggle to break. Shouldn't use the word break it loose, but had to kind of wiggle the rotor back and forth and smack the rotor with a mallet once or twice, but it's just kind of stuck on there. There's one. And then to get your, yeah, that doesn't look great. To get your inner bearing, the trick is put your rotor on, take your spindle nut, thread that guy on. There you go. Pops off just like that. So let's get this, we'll come out here and clean this up in a minute, but let's get the rotor in the garage and clean up the bearings, take a look at what damage might have occurred, which I'm hoping doesn't look too bad. I mean, yeah, we'll take a look. Taking a closer look here, see this black discoloration right here on the spindle. And the inside of these bearings are just jet black. Last time I drove it, I wonder if there's some corrosion or something. Because you can't feel any grooves or anything, but that just looks burnt. Tried cleaning it off, but we'll hit it with some brake cleaner. I'm thinking I might replace these bearings, to be honest. Let me go clean them up, we'll take a look. Anyway, got some bad news. Gonna have to order 2 bearings and 2 races, because got some water in there, corrosion started, there's some pitting on those bearings, and the races honestly have some blue areas, so I think those got a little hot. But the spindle, it's got those black areas, but it cleaned up, it looks fine. You can't catch your fingernail on anything, so I think that'll be okay. And then I'm just going to reuse that rotor. It's kind of rusty, but honestly, you drive around the block and it'll come off. So yeah, I'm going to go hop online and O'Reilly's, order some parts, and meet you guys back out here when they'll show up, so stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Strap for Cash Garage. It's been seconds for you, but it's been about 2 days for me. I ended up finding a rotor for the Caprice. I had one. Of all things, I guess I bought it a while ago, but it was up in my attic. So literally just cracking that out. Like I said, it's been about 2 days, but yeah, at least this way I have the bearings now. I was originally going to reuse the old rotor, but I found this one up in the attic, so I'm just going to throw that on the car. So let's hop over at the bench and take a look at it. Back over here at the bench. Like I said, literally just found this up in my attic, but it is brand new. It was even had the anti-rust coating and everything still on it, so just cleaning that off. Just sprayed down with some brake cleaner, use some compressed air, and get those bearings, or at least the inner bearing put on with the seal, and then we'll go throw it on the car. But yeah, let me get those bearings greased, and we'll slap this together. What's going on, guys? We're back. We got the rotor flipped over, finished greasing our other bearing. I'll put a little link to a video of how to grease the bearings if you guys are curious. I know it's a pretty straightforward task for a lot of you, but thought I'd just show it. The other thing to be mindful of is make sure the inside of your dust cap, see that little rust starting? I like to rub a light layer of grease all over the dust cap just to prevent that. You can literally have these rust through, so just something to be mindful of. That, and I got everything cleaned up, castle nut, dust cap, so yeah, we're ready to go. We'll get that spindle cleaned up, new cotter pin, have this back on the car in no time, so let's head out there. I'll see you guys out there, and we'll get this thrown on. And we're back outside. Just getting our getting our spindle prepared here. Already got it cleaned off, and honestly, I like to just go over it with some fine emery cloth, just some 3M stuff, whatever, but nothing coarse, just to remove any imperfections, and then just clean it with some brake cleaner. But all those weird, those kind of black areas cleaned up, so it's smooth. There's nothing you can catch your nail on. So I'm probably just going to hit it one more time with some brake cleaner, and then apply a light layer of grease. Then we'll throw the rotor on. Something to be mindful of is the area where the seal rides. Up in here, you can get sometimes a lip starting. I like to just get in there with some emery cloth as well, but this is pretty smooth. I know there's some slight discoloration, but I think that's just from the seal rubbing along there for so long. So let me get a little bit of grease on here, and then throw the rotor on. Now it's time to put the rotor on. Let me see if I can get in here. It might be a little difficult with the camera, but we'll see if we can't make it happen. That easy. If you're having a lot of trouble getting it on, usually I've noticed it's because you put too much grease, over-greased it. That's what I usually run into if you're really having to force it on. So, you know, once you have the bearings packed, you don't have to go gung-ho with the grease. But now we put our outer bearing back in. Now that we have our outer bearing installed, take our special washer. Can only go on one way. Finally, our castle nut. Once we got our bearing preload set, remembered to replace your cotter pin. That's as simple as just putting your new cotter pin in and bending it down. Once we got our cotter pin installed, just take our dust cap and reinstall that guy. Now the reinstall is just the reversal of what we did earlier. Let me get this brake caliper put back on, and you want to take a minute and just clean up any areas that your brake caliper rides on, and put a little high temp brake grease on there. Just use some emery cloth or something, brake cleaner. But let me get that caliper put on. We'll be right back. One thing to be mindful of when you're putting your caliper back on is just double check that your brake line goes in the exact same way it came off. Just because I've seen people get stuff twisted around, then you have the brake line pinched and stuff like that. So just be mindful of that. Just put it on the way it came off, and you'll be fine. I mean, you get those pins, we'll grease them up and have them reinstalled, and this thing will be ready to roll down the street. As far as what grease to use on the brake pins, I just use this particular one. However, any high temp brake grease I think should work just fine. And we'll just straighten out our rotor and put our tire back on. I'm just going to throw our tire back on with an impact, and then let it off the jack stands. And again, if you guys don't have an impact, no big problem, but just put it on by hand, and then check your owner's manual for the torque specification, and use a torque wrench once you have the car off the jack on the ground. Anyway, that's a wrap on the wheel bearing on the Caprice. I think now all I have to do is see the differential coming up here. Look at the fluid on that. I just wanted to change it. And maybe the transmission. We'll see about that though. It's not, I don't have too much mileage on the fluid, and it's kind of pricey, so I'll at least take another look at it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, I wasn't making this so much as a how-to video, but it kind of turned into that. If you found it useful, you know, I'm glad. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to start making some videos just about the shenanigans I get up to on my car. And I'm always doing something on cars, or some sort of hobby, RC, whatever. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys stick around for some more videos in the future. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one.